Have you ever felt surrounded by enemies, betrayed by those you trusted, and attacked in secret, yet you still believe God is your shield? Then today is your moment, because the Lord of Psalm 3 is rising for you, and every hidden attack is about to return to sender as we pray now. Today I rise under the covering of the living God, and I declare by the authority of Psalm 3 that the Lord himself is my shield round about me, and because he surrounds my life with divine fire, every voice that rose against me in secret is now silenced. Every betrayal that was planned behind my back is now exposed. Every hand that stretched out to harm me is now withered by the power of God. And every enemy who mocked my tears is now facing the judgment of heaven. For my God is defending me on every side. I decree that the shield of the Lord is lifted over my life, over my name, over my destiny, over my family, and over everything that concerns me. And as this shield rises, every traitor who conspired against me in darkness is now confused. Every evil gathering speaking against my progress is scattered. Every curse spoken over my future is reversed. And every secret enemy who celebrated my pain is now being repaid by the righteous hand of the Most High. I proclaim that the glory of the Lord is covering me, and because he is my shield, no weapon of betrayal, no arrow of hatred, no sword of deception, and no scheme of witchcraft shall prosper against my life. And every evil word released against me is now bouncing back to its sender with multiplied force, and every plan of destruction is collapsing under the weight of divine judgment. Today I lift my voice to the living God, and I declare that the Lord who heard me from his holy hill has released his power into my situation. And every voice speaking against my destiny is now being silenced. Every accusation raised in secret is now being overturned. Every betrayal whispered in darkness is now being exposed. And every evil word spoken over my life is now returning to its sender by the authority of the Most High. I decree that my cry has entered the throne room of heaven. And because God has heard me, every judgment written against me by my enemies is now erased. Every evil record is canceled. Every wicked decree is destroyed, and every hand that rose against my progress is now being forced to retreat in shame. I proclaim that the Lord has responded to my prayer, and as he answers me, every traitor who plotted my fall is now losing their power. Every hidden enemy is being brought into the light. Every trap is collapsing, and every scheme is turning into confusion for those who sent it. Today I declare that I will not fear though 10,000 enemies rise against me on every side, because the Lord my God is standing with me, and every power that surrounded me to intimidate my destiny is now losing strength. Every force that came to terrify my spirit is now collapsing, and every enemy who thought fear would silence me is now being overthrown by the authority of the Most High. I decree that the spirit of fear has no place in my life, and every weapon formed to shake my confidence is now breaking. Every voice of intimidation is now silenced. Every threat spoken against my future is now canceled. And every enemy who relied on my fear is now facing divine judgment. I proclaim that the Lord has strengthened my heart, and as he empowers me, every evil presence that rose to frighten me is now fleeing. Every dark power that surrounded me is now scattering, and every wicked force that tried to trap me in terror is now defeated by the hand of God. Today I cry unto the living God, and I command by divine authority, rise up, O Lord, and let every enemy that rose against my life be scattered. Let every secret gathering against my destiny be broken. Let every evil voice speaking against my progress be silenced, and let every trap laid in darkness be exposed and destroyed by the power of the Most High. I decree that as the Lord rises on my behalf, every power standing against my name is now falling. Every altar raised to fight my destiny is now collapsing. Every hidden betrayal is now being judged, And every wicked hand that stretched to destroy me is now withdrawing in shame. I proclaim that the rising of the Lord is overturning every evil throne, breaking every chain of oppression, confusing every enemy camp, and scattering every force that rose to resist my breakthrough by the power of divine fire. I declare that the Lord has risen as my defender, and as he stands for me, every plot designed to disgrace me is now failing. Every curse spoken against me is now reversed. Every voice of accusation is now silenced, and every hidden enemy is now exposed. I decree that the power of God is rising like a consuming fire, burning down every conspiracy, destroying every network of betrayal, frustrating every plan of witchcraft, and dismantling every evil strategy formed against my life. I proclaim that as the Lord rises, my enemies are being pushed back. Their strength is failing, their confidence is collapsing, their weapons are breaking, and their evil intentions are returning to them by divine judgment. I declare that the rising of the Lord is lifting me above shame, above defeat, above rejection, and above betrayal. And every enemy who rejoiced at my tears is now watching my divine restoration. I decree that the Lord has risen to defend my name, restore my honor, protect my destiny, and silence every voice that rose to mock me, and every wicked plan is now being destroyed. I proclaim that the Lord has risen as a warrior for me, and every force of darkness that surrounded my life is now scattering. Every chain is breaking, every door is opening, and every delay is ending by his power. I declare that as the Lord rises for me, I rise in victory, I rise in power, I rise in peace, and every enemy who stood against me is now falling by the mighty hand of God. Today I stand in divine authority, and I declare by the power of the living God, break the jaws of the wicked who rose against my life, shatter the teeth of those who spoke lies against my destiny, destroy the mouth that released curses over my name, silence every evil voice that mocked my tears, and let every enemy who plotted my destruction be forced into shame by the judgment of the Most High. I decree that every lie spoken against me is now exposed. Every false accusation is now destroyed. Every evil report is now canceled. And every wicked word is now returning to its sender with multiplied force. Because the Lord himself is rising to defend my cause, I proclaim that the power of God is breaking every evil agreement, dismantling every network of betrayal, destroying every secret alliance formed against me, and scattering every gathering that spoke against my progress by the fire of divine justice. I declare that every mouth that rose to curse me is now being shut. Every tongue that spoke destruction is now being silenced. Every false witness is now being judged, and every enemy who relied on lies is now losing their power. I decree that the Lord is tearing down every evil altar raised against my destiny, burning every charm, destroying every hidden trap, frustrating every scheme of darkness, and returning every evil assignment back to its sender. I proclaim that every wicked hand stretched against me is now broken. Every evil eye watching me with jealousy is now blinded. Every evil heart wishing me harm is now confused. And every enemy who sought my downfall is now facing divine justice. I declare that the Lord is scattering the camp of my enemies, confusing their language, dividing their strength, exposing their secrets, and overturning their plans by the power of his mighty hand. I decree that every curse spoken against my life is now reversed. Every spell is canceled. Every evil word is destroyed. And every weapon formed against me is now failing by divine authority. I proclaim that the power of God is chasing down every hidden enemy, bringing every traitor into the light, exposing every secret plot, and returning every evil work to its sender by fire. I declare that the Lord has broken the jaws of the wicked, silenced their mouths, shattered their lies, and established my victory. And from this day forward, every enemy who rose against me is now falling by the mighty hand of God. Today I declare by the authority of the living God that the Lord is my deliverer, and as he moves on my behalf, every chain that held my destiny is now breaking. Every prison of limitation is now opening. Every hidden bondage is now dissolving, and every power that rose to keep me in captivity is now losing its grip by divine fire. I decree that divine deliverance is locating me right now, and every force that oppressed my life is now being driven away. Every burden placed upon my spirit is now lifting. Every yoke of delay is now shattering, and every evil assignment designed to hold me back is now returning to its sender. I proclaim that the Lord has stretched out his hand to rescue me, and as he lifts me, every pit that was dug for my fall is now collapsing. Every enemy that pursued me is now stumbling, and every trap that surrounded my life is now being destroyed. I declare that the power of God is freeing me from every hidden cage, breaking every chain of darkness, releasing me from every curse, and restoring everything that was stolen by betrayal and deceit. I decree that the Lord is removing every weight of sorrow, every spirit of heaviness, every mark of shame, and every stain of rejection, and he is clothing me with freedom, honor, and divine peace. I proclaim that divine deliverance is working in my favor, opening new doors, shifting my seasons, repositioning my destiny, and silencing every enemy who said I would never rise again. I declare that the Lord has lifted me from dust, set my feet upon a rock, established my steps, and turned my mourning into dancing, while my enemies watch in defeat. I decree that every force that rose to delay me is now breaking. Every spirit of limitation is now removed, and every wall of resistance is now falling by the power of God. I proclaim that my life is free from every hidden oppression, every spiritual bondage, every generational chain, and every evil covenant. Because the Lord has delivered me completely, I declare that from this day forward, I walk in divine liberty, divine victory, and divine peace, and every enemy who tried to hold me captive is now falling by the mighty hand of God. Today I boldly declare that the Lord is on my side, and because the God of heaven is fighting for me, every enemy who rose against my destiny is now losing their strength. Every traitor who planned my fall is now confused. Every power that stood against my progress is now scattering, and every evil voice speaking against my life is now being silenced by divine authority. I decree that heaven is backing me, and as the armies of the Lord surround me, every hidden enemy is being exposed. Every secret plot is collapsing, every trap is failing, and every wicked hand that stretched against me is now withdrawing in shame. I proclaim that angels of the living God are defending me, guarding my steps, protecting my path, and intercepting every attack sent against me. And every evil arrow fired in darkness is now returning to its sender by divine fire. I declare that the light of God surrounds my life, and every darkness hiding in secret is now being driven away. Every shadow of betrayal is now being removed, and every evil power trying to cover my destiny is now scattered. I decree that the power of God is covering me like a garment of fire, and every spirit of limitation is now broken. Every yoke is destroyed, and every enemy who relied on my delay is now watching my breakthrough. I proclaim that the grace of God is sustaining me, strengthening me, lifting me, restoring me, and positioning me for victory while my enemies are being put to shame. I declare that divine favor is locating me, surrounding me, and opening doors for me that no enemy can close. And every gate that was shut against me is now opening by the power of God. I decree that blessings are following me, overtaking me, surrounding me, and establishing me. And every curse spoken against my life is now canceled by divine authority. I proclaim that breakthrough is chasing me down, and every delay, every setback, and every obstruction is now being removed as the Lord clears my path. I declare that victory is crowning my life, peace is filling my heart, Joy is rising in my spirit, and every enemy who rose against me is now falling by the mighty hand of God. Today I stand in the authority of the living God, and I declare that every betrayer who smiled in my face while planning my downfall is now being located by divine judgment. Every secret traitor is being exposed. Every hidden enemy is being confronted. And every evil word they released against my life is now returning to them with multiplied force by the power of the Most High. I decree that every false friend who walked with me while carrying evil in their heart is now losing their power. Their influence is breaking. Their lies are being uncovered, and their wicked intentions are now being repaid by the righteous hand of God. I proclaim that every backstabber who rejoiced at my pain is now facing divine justice. Everyone who mocked my tears is now being humbled. Everyone who celebrated my delay is now watching my divine elevation, and every evil plan formed against me is now collapsing. I declare that the hand of the Lord is pursuing every traitor, exposing every secret meeting, uncovering every hidden scheme, breaking every evil covenant, and returning every curse to its sender by divine fire. I decree that every enemy who plotted against my destiny is now trapped in their own devices. Every pit they dug is now swallowing them. Every net they spread is now entangling them. And every evil work they sent against me is now returning to them. I proclaim that the power of God is reversing every betrayal, canceling every evil agreement, destroying every hidden altar, frustrating every plan of witchcraft, and dismantling every network of darkness formed against my life. I declare that every word of slander spoken against me is now being judged. Every false accusation is now destroyed. Every evil report is now canceled, and every wicked voice is now silenced by divine authority. I decree that every hidden attack is now exposed. Every secret weapon is now broken. Every demonic assignment is now canceled, and every evil force that rose against me is now scattering in confusion. I proclaim that divine justice is standing on my behalf, and every enemy who pursued my destruction is now facing the consequences of their own actions. While I walk in restoration and victory, I declare that from this day forward, every betrayer, every traitor, every secret enemy, and every wicked planner is now being repaid by the hand of the living God, and my life is established in peace and power. Today I declare that the Lord himself is rising as a warrior on my behalf, and as he fights for me, every enemy that stood against my destiny is now losing their strength. Every power that resisted my progress is now collapsing. Every voice of accusation is now being silenced, and every hidden plan of destruction is now failing by divine authority. I decree that the hand of God is moving in my favor, and every battle that was assigned to destroy me is now turning into my victory. Every attack is now being reversed. Every trap is now breaking, and every enemy is now retreating in shame. I proclaim that the God who fights for me is scattering the camp of my enemies, confusing their strategies, dismantling their weapons, exposing their secrets, and overturning their plans by the power of divine fire. I declare that as the Lord fights for me, every chain of limitation is now breaking. Every door of delay is now opening. Every wall of resistance is now falling, and every enemy who tried to stop me is now powerless. I decree that the presence of God is surrounding me like fire, and every dark power that rose against my life is now being consumed. Every curse is canceled. Every spell is broken, and every evil word is now returning to its sender. I proclaim that divine strength is rising within me, and every fear is now leaving. Every doubt is now broken. Every weakness is now replaced with power, and every enemy who hoped I would fall is now watching my victory. I declare that the Lord is standing in the gap for me, fighting every unseen battle, defending my name, restoring my honor, and silencing every voice that rose to mock me. I decree that every spiritual battle assigned against me is now won by the power of God. Every demonic resistance is now shattered. Every opposition is now removed, and every blessing delayed is now released. I proclaim that victory is mine because the Lord fights for me, and every enemy who surrounded my life is now scattered. Every darkness is now driven away, and every chain is now broken. I declare that from this day forward, the battles that rose against me are now ending in my favor, and the God who fights for me is establishing me in peace, power, and divine triumph. Today I declare that I rise in divine victory, and every battle that rose against my destiny is now bowing before the power of God. Every enemy who stood in my way is now losing strength. Every wall that blocked my progress is now falling, and every force that tried to stop my breakthrough is now being overthrown by the hand of the Most High. I decree that victory is established over my life, and every spirit of defeat is now broken. Every chain of failure is now shattered. Every curse of delay is now canceled, and every voice that spoke limitation over my destiny is now silenced by divine authority. I proclaim that the power of God is lifting me higher, and every enemy who mocked my journey is now watching my elevation. Every betrayal is now overturned. Every hidden attack is now exposed, and every plan of darkness is now collapsing by the fire of the Lord. I declare that I walk in dominion, and every force that resisted my rising is now falling. Every gate that was closed against me is now opening. Every yoke of oppression is now broken, and every spirit of stagnation is now driven out of my life. I decree that peace is reigning in my heart, and every storm raised to trouble my soul is now calm. Every fear is now removed. Every anxiety is now silenced, and every enemy who hoped to see me fall is now powerless. I proclaim that I speak life over my destiny, and every word of death spoken against me is now canceled. Every evil decree is destroyed, every lie is exposed, and every weapon formed against my future is now failing. I declare that blessings are overtaking me, and every spirit of lack is now broken. Every door of provision is now opening. Every withheld favor is now released, and every enemy who blocked my supply is now losing their hold. I decree that I overcome every obstacle, every resistance, every delay, and every opposition, and I rise above every trap that was set against me by the power of God. I proclaim that I prevail in every battle, and every enemy that surrounded me is now scattering. Every darkness is now fading, every chain is now breaking, and every limitation is now removed. I declare that I conquer by the strength of the Lord, and from this day forward my life is established in victory, peace, honor, and divine triumph, while every enemy who rose against me is now falling by the mighty hand of God. Today I declare by the authority of the living God that no weapon formed against my life shall prosper, and every plan designed to destroy my destiny is now failing. Every hidden scheme is now collapsing. Every evil arrow fired in darkness is now returning to its sender, and every enemy who trusted in their weapons is now being put to shame. I decree that no curse spoken against my name will stand, no spell released against my future will work, no evil decree written against my progress will remain, and every word of destruction is now being erased by divine fire. I proclaim that no power of witchcraft, no force of darkness, no altar of evil, and no demonic assignment can prevail against me, because the Lord has surrounded my life with his shield and his glory. I declare that every weapon of delay is now broken. Every weapon of confusion is now destroyed. Every weapon of shame is now canceled. And every enemy who relied on these weapons is now losing their power. I decree that every voice raised to condemn me is now silenced. Every false accusation is now exposed. Every lying tongue is now judged, and every enemy who spoke against me is now facing divine justice. I proclaim that no force can stop my rising, no hand can block my breakthrough, no gate can shut my destiny, and no enemy can hinder what the Lord has established. I declare that every chain of oppression is now breaking, every yoke of limitation is now shattered, every spirit of heaviness is now lifted, and every darkness is now driven away. I decree that no delay will hold me, no setback will stop me, no failure will define me, and no enemy will prevail over my life. I proclaim that no shadow of fear remains, no spirit of doubt survives, no voice of defeat speaks, and no power of darkness has authority over me. I declare that from this day forward no weapon, no curse, no spell, and no enemy will prosper against me, because the Lord my God has established me in victory and power. Today I declare that the Lord is my glory and the lifter of my head, and because he stands for me, every shame spoken over my life is now erased. Every reproach is now removed. Every word of disgrace is now canceled, and every enemy who mocked my journey is now watching my divine restoration. I decree that the glory of God is resting upon me, and every spirit of rejection is now broken. Every mark of failure is now removed. Every label of defeat is now erased, and every hidden enemy who celebrated my downfall is now losing their power. I proclaim that divine honor is replacing every season of humiliation, and the Lord is clothing me with favor, lifting me above my adversaries, restoring my joy, and surrounding me with peace while my enemies are put to shame. I declare that the hand of God is lifting me higher, and every power that tried to keep me low is now broken. Every chain of limitation is now shattered. Every door of delay is now opening, and every obstacle is now falling. I decree that my God is crowning me with mercy, restoring what was stolen, healing what was broken, renewing my strength, and positioning me for divine increase while my enemies watch in defeat. I proclaim that the glory of the Lord is radiating through my life, and every darkness is now driven away. Every confusion is now cleared. Every shadow is now removed, and every enemy is now losing their hold. I declare that my head is lifted above sorrow, above shame, above rejection, and above betrayal, and I walk boldly into my season of restoration and victory. I decree that divine promotion is locating me, and every delay is now ending, every closed door is now opening, and every withheld blessing is now released. I proclaim that my life is established in honor, peace, strength, and joy, and every enemy who rose against me is now falling by the power of God. I declare that the Lord is my glory forever, and from this day forward I walk in divine favor, divine power, and divine triumph. Today I declare by the authority of the living God that every plan formed against my life is now reversing. Every evil intention spoken in secret is now turning back. Every trap that was set to destroy me is now collapsing, and every hand that was stretched to harm me is now receiving the reward of their own actions by divine judgment. I decree that what was meant to bring me down is now lifting me up. What was sent to disgrace me is now restoring my honor. What was planted to delay me is now accelerating my breakthrough. And what was released to curse me is now returning to its sender by the power of the Most High. I proclaim that every word of destruction spoken against me is now canceled. Every evil decree is erased. Every wicked agreement is broken, and every demonic assignment is now dismantled by the fire of God. I declare that every pit dug for my fall is now swallowing those who dug it. Every net spread to trap me is now entangling its owners, and every weapon formed against me is now failing by divine authority. I decree that every hidden plot is now exposed. Every secret meeting is now scattered. Every evil covenant is now broken, and every power of darkness standing against me is now losing their strength. I proclaim that divine reversal is working in my favor, restoring what was stolen, healing what was broken, lifting what was crushed, and turning every season of sorrow into joy while my enemies watch in defeat. I declare that every evil word sent against me is now returning to its sender. Every curse is canceled, every spell is broken, and every wicked plan is now collapsing by the power of God. I decree that every altar raised against my destiny is now destroyed. Every charm is burned, every chain is broken, and every evil foundation is now uprooted by divine fire. I proclaim that what my enemies meant for evil is now working for my good. Every shame is replaced with honor, every loss is replaced with restoration, and every delay is replaced with divine acceleration. I declare that from this day forward, divine reversal is established in my life, and every enemy who rose against me is now falling by the mighty hand of God. Today I declare that the peace of the Lord is surrounding my heart, my mind, my spirit, and my path, and every storm that rose to trouble my life is now calming. Every voice of chaos is now silenced. Every spirit of heaviness is now lifting, and every enemy who tried to steal my peace is now losing their power by divine authority. I decree that divine rest is entering my life, and every burden I carried is now falling away. Every worry is now dissolving. Every fear is now broken, and every anxious thought is now being replaced with the peace of God that passes all understanding. I proclaim that the Lord is giving me peaceful sleep, peaceful days, and peaceful outcomes. And every nightmare sent to trouble my rest is now canceled. Every spirit of torment is now silenced, and every evil assignment against my peace is now destroyed. I declare that the presence of God is filling my environment, and every atmosphere of tension is now shifting. Every cloud of confusion is now clearing. Every spirit of unrest is now leaving, and every enemy who sought to disturb my peace is now powerless. I decree that peace is guarding my heart, and every memory of pain is now healed. Every wound of betrayal is now closed. Every sorrow is now lifted, and every spirit of depression is now broken by the power of God. I proclaim that the Lord is establishing my steps in calmness and confidence, and every force that tried to rush me into confusion is now silenced. Every pressure is now removed, and every burden is now lifted. I declare that I walk in divine tranquility, and no voice of fear can shake me. No power of darkness can disturb me. No enemy can steal my joy, and no storm can move what God has established. I decree that my soul is resting in the Lord, and every unrest is now leaving. Every inner battle is now ending. Every hidden anxiety is now dissolving, and every shadow of worry is now removed. I proclaim that peace is reigning in my life, and every enemy who rose to bring chaos is now falling. Every force of confusion is now scattered, and every storm is now still by the power of God. I declare that from this day forward I live, walk, and stand in the peace of the Lord, and nothing shall disturb the victory he has established in my life. Today, I declare that salvation belongs to the Lord, and it is released into my life, my home, my destiny, and everything that concerns me. And because the Lord has saved me, every chain of destruction is now broken. Every power of darkness is now defeated, and every enemy who rose against me is now falling by divine authority. I decree that divine deliverance is established over my life, and every bondage is now shattered. Every yoke is now destroyed. Every prison door is now opening, and every hidden oppression is now losing its grip by the power of the living God. I proclaim that victory is mine through the Lord, and every battle that stood against me is now ending in my favor. Every storm is now calming, every delay is now breaking, and every enemy who tried to stop me is now powerless. I declare that peace is resting upon my life, and every voice of fear is now silenced. Every spirit of heaviness is now lifted. Every shadow of sorrow is now removed, and every enemy who mocked my journey is now put to shame. I decree that joy is returning to my heart, and every tear is now wiped away. Every memory of pain is now healed. Every wound of betrayal is now closed, and every spirit of sadness is now broken by the power of God. I proclaim that blessings are flowing into my life, and every door of provision is now opening. Every withheld favor is now released. Every seed I planted is now producing harvest, and every enemy who blocked my supply is now losing their hold. I declare that divine favor is surrounding me, and every rejection is now overturned. Every closed door is now opening. Every delay is now ending, And every voice that said I would not rise is now silenced. I decree that restoration is established in my life, and everything stolen from me is now returned. Every broken area is now healed. Every lost opportunity is now recovered. And every enemy who celebrated my loss is now watching my restoration. I proclaim that breakthrough is manifesting in my life, and every limitation is now removed. Every chain is now broken. Every wall is now falling, and every enemy who stood against me is now defeated. I declare that from this day forward I walk in salvation, deliverance, victory, peace, joy, and divine power. And the glory of the Lord is established over my life forever. Father God, thank you for fighting for us, reversing every attack, and surrounding us with your shield. And from this moment, we walk in victory and peace. In Jesus' name. And for more powerful back-to-sender prayers and spiritual warfare declarations, stay connected to the Divine Cleansing Secret Channel. Amen.